we're backstage pass right outside the Today Show studio with the one and only Laura Prepon.
Hi.
I personally am a huge fan of yours. Very excited about this.
Thank you.
Laura,
So I'm like still. We just did a cooking segment, and I love the recipe, so I was eating the food.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, okay.
Now you see how backstage this actually is.
Yeah, so it's awesome. Okay.
Literally just hot off the camera.
Yeah.
So I was talking to your publicist before. I want to this book.
Thank you.
So her cookbook's called The Stash Plan, and what I find to be really good about it is that, I personally think it's hard in life to be a woman and, dealing with your body image issues and whatnot. So to take that another level and have it be in Hollywood, that I can only imagine how hard that is.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because being on Orange, which is just such a blessing. It's like the best show ever.
Love it.
It's so good. It's so good. You're gonna love it. But these women are so sexy and beautiful and embrace every curve and this is the best my body image has been. Number one, because of doing the Stash Plan. Like, this book isn't just I want to write a book. This book really is how I live my life. It's years in the making. It's my trials and tribulations on my own body and everything that I've gone through. All the different ailments that I've dealt with and all the different food allergies and autoimmune diseases, and it's just I kind of had this battle in private because it's embarrassing, I felt it was, and now I really figured out what works. That's why it was so important to me to share it with guys, because a lot of people don't feel right and they don't know what's wrong with them because it goes against typical Western medicine, which there definitely is a place for. And I grew up in a family of Western medicine. My father was a doctor.
Mine too.
And awesome. So I totally get that, and there was a place for it, and I fully respected 100%. I was going to be a doctor. But when it came to the things I was dealing with and the food allergies and all things like that, people were taking it seriously, and I'm like, I do not feel right. I'm 22 years old, I feel like I'm 90. This is not good. But it all culminated in this book, and it's awesome.
And I think, too, it's important to remember that, body image, that's part of it, and the beauty, physical aspect, part of it. But then on top of that, it's also the health aspect. And I feel like, there's a certain point where you realize, okay, I need to feed body as if I'm, feeding it medicine, like you were talking about.
No, food is what it becomes. What you eat becomes you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, completely.
And for me, dealing with all these different kind of struggles with my body and, we just talked about this on camera. I got Orange is the New Black on 2 hours notice. I had to fly to New York, and my first name with Taylor, I was naked in a shower. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Literally, what am I going to do?
You look awesome, by the
Thank you.
Talk about a hot bar.
Thank you. And I appreciate that. Because in my, I'm like, this, it was just torture.
But that did not come off as that.
Thank you. But at a certain point, you got to just be like, screw it. Whatever. And I did. And at that time, I had already done so much work. And I was already in my phase of healing and the weight being a byproduct of that and everything just improving. But yeah, as an actress, you get jobs suddenly, and it's something that we have to deal with, but it's the best job in the world, so I wouldn't change a thing.
Good, because we like to watch you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you share any, on set with the New Black, your cast members, even on that 70s show, do you ever share, snacking tips or, ever about that type of stuff?
Totally. Because this book is how I live, for years, I bring my food to set every day, my little, glass containers, and people are always like, what'd you bring today? And everyone's really into the broth, which is one of the 3 main, it's a third of what this plan is. Taylor just got a crock pot. Asha and I were doing some broth lessons because I was all about trying the broth. Everyone's just the thing is amazing because it heals you. The micronutrients nourishes you from the inside out. It's incredible. But yeah, we're all together all the time on set, so naturally we're each other's business. What's everybody doing, you know?
Awesome. Lastly, before we let you go, because I know you're busy, is there anything that you can tell us about?
Oh man, no, I can't really.
I figured that would be
Anybody you ask about it, they're gonna say the same thing. But unfortunately, I can't. But this season does not disappoint. I just did some ADR for one of the last episodes, which means if we're shooting a scene and there's a plane going overhead or something crazy, you can't hear us. We have to go in and dub our voice over the lines. You can actually hear it. So what I've seen is awesome, and our executives, Netflix, who is they're the best. They the whole season, and they're just like,
oh wow,
they're like, it's wait till you get to see it.
I can't wait.
It's so good. I mean, when we were watching it, it just felt
Yeah.
so good, you know.
I can't wait.
Thank
And that
you.
comes out
June 17th.
And you can get the stash plan.
First, we hit shelves, so we're on the
Great.
shelves right now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye guys. I can take. Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, we're both okay. Great.
Yeah. It's very candid. Okay. Hi guys.
Hey, do not record yet. I'm chewing.
Okay. It's not.
Because this is live, right?
Yeah, that's why I was like, wait, she's